What's going on, everyone? Jakob Owens here. Today, I want to talk to you guys about 5 life-changing habits, or at least things I do in my life that have changed my life. So if you know a little bit about my journey, you know that I run a myriad of businesses, from filmmaking related stuff like Tropicolor, Prism Lens Effects, film studios, production company, etc. But that I also have, investments in real estate and stocks and just a myriad of things. And so it's not easy to do all those things, but all those things are a part of kind of these 5 things I'm going to tell you, but these 5 things are also a reason as to why I have been able to do all those things or accumulate all those things to this day. So first and most important, which is gonna seem just like, oh, well, I might as well stop watching this video now because if this is the type of information he's gonna give, is wake up early. But point blank and period, one of the biggest just life-changing habits that, I implemented for myself coming out of college was to wake up early. When you wake up early, you have more hours in the day than anyone else. You're up before all the noise of the world starts, before people are posting to Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, to where you get distracted. So much of why people aren't productive and do the things that they need to do throughout the day is because they get distracted. They get distracted by social media and by other people and just the noise of the world. So by getting up early and starting your day, you're able to get a jump start on everyone else and everything else that you want to do throughout the day without being distracted. So by waking up early, I'm just able to focus on more of my work, what needs to be done, handle, preparation for the different, things I'm going to do throughout the day for all the businesses. And it just really helps me focus and not get distracted by the outside world. So I'm able to take on so much more and do so much more when I, 1, wake up early. Number 2 is live below your means. This has allowed me to save a ton of money and invest it into myself and my various businesses to grow all those businesses and to further progress my career. So many people early on, when they get money or they start making money, spend it on things that give them no return, such as fancy watches, fancy cars, whatever it is, just of the world material things that add no real value into your life. Everything I would do, I would save. And the first big amount of money that I saved, I bought a house, and that was in 2015. And then that's when I started jumping into real estate and ultimately, now own 5+ properties and have a lot of money and equity into those homes. And I've just been able to make a lot more money because of that, because I'm saving that money and putting it into stuff that matters. And by not buying things that are just above my means or, just frivolous spending. So that one should be like live below your means, but frivolous spending as well. I always made enough money to live in a bigger house, buy fancier cars, but that was never my end goal. My end goal was to always invest in myself and see the return over years and long term, and never put myself in a position where I would have to, sell those things off because I couldn't afford it or I couldn't keep up with my lifestyle. And that was just never my focus. So live below your means, save money, and use that saved money to invest back into yourself or a business that you want to start. That kind of leads me to the third thing that I wanted to touch on, which is always reinvest in yourself. With everything that I do, the money that I save, I'm reinvesting it into myself and the things that I want to do. I'd made a video about this. I dropped it because it came on the heels of an Instagram post about how, coming out of college, that I spent all my money on a new camera, a 5D Mark II, and went broke doing so. But I was investing in myself, my future, my career as a filmmaker, and what I wanted to do, which was make music videos and make films. And I was able to build my career because I invested in myself, and I took that money that I had saved and invested into my business. everything I do to this day is just reinvesting in myself over and over. After I got the first film property and it did really well, I could have stopped there, let my foot off the gas, slowed down, hit the brakes, but I immediately took all the money that I made from the first 6 months of that first film property and took all of that money plus more and invested it into a second one.
Sold. 40 acres.
Rolled that into a third. And so I'm just constantly reinvesting into myself and into my business. And smartly, not just willy-nilly, like making smart, executive, thoughtful decisions, but not overanalyzing to the point where I scare myself from making those leaps. And that's what's super important, is that you don't paralyze yourself by analyzing every situation that can go wrong. You need to analyze the good, the bad, the pros and the cons, but don't paralyze yourself in fear, because all you're doing is looking at all the things that could go wrong instead of all the things that can go right. So that's what's been huge for me, is reinvesting over and over, not just investing in myself, but reinvesting over and over, time and time again. The next thing for me is always pay for everything in cash. The only thing, in my opinion, that you should go into debt for is a house. It is damn near impossible to buy a house. If the house is $500,000, not many people have $500,000 sitting in their bank account that they can just drop on a house. So, but with everything else, from cars to camera gear, everything that I bought that has been a large purchase, I myself have saved up enough money to where I've been able to buy it in cash. I do not buy anything that I can't afford and have to take out a loan on or pay, with interest, such as camera gear. When I bought my first Red, I made sure I saved up enough money to buy that camera in cash. I had no payments. I wasn't paying extra because of interest. I own that camera outright. Same thing with my cars. The truck that I just bought, paid for it in cash. I don't want the bank owning that and having to pay interest to the bank and having all these payments every month. Saved up enough money, bought the car. I know this is hard and not necessarily feasible for everyone, but I was in the same position everyone else was. When I bought my first 5D Mark II, I saved up enough money to buy it in cash. So you can, I say that, that it's not feasible for everyone, but it is within your grasp and realm. Pay for everything in cash. I absolutely try not to go into debt for anything. Even the house remodel that we've been doing right now, a lot of people will, when they remodel their house, they'll take out a loan, refinance their home, etc. For this house remodel, I've completely paid for everything with cash. We haven't taken out any loans. We haven't, refinanced our house and done things so that we can pay for it. We're remodeling the house as we go with the cash that we have. So in my opinion, don't go into debt for anything outside of a house, and pay for everything with cash. That's been extremely beneficial for me, and what I think has allowed me to do so many different things, because I'm not having to worry about, I got to make this payment and then there's interest and all the other things. It's, you pay for it, out of sight, out of mind, you own it, it's done, on to the next thing. Having too many things in the back of your head and mind, and payments and bills and things that you have to think about and remember can bog down your creative process as well if you are a creative. So just getting rid of all that noise will help. And then this has been huge for me, and why the channel is The Buff Nerds, is a consistent workout regimen and eating healthy. When your body feels good, your mind can feel good. You have energy, you have the physical ability to go do things that other people may not be able to do, or may be too tired to do, or don't have the mental wherewithal or energy to complete. And so it allows me, having a consistent workout regimen, working out, eating healthy, taking my multivitamins, doing what I need to do to keep my body in check and in a healthy condition, so that my mind is in a healthy condition, so that I can do all these things. What I do takes a lot of mental focus and physical energy to do. And if I were just never working out, poor eating habits, it would be hard to do what I do. And so for me, that has been instrumental throughout my whole career, is just working out, healthy diet. So that was 5 tips, my 5 most crucial tips in my opinion that have helped me get to where I'm at today and see, the success that I've had. A 6th kind of bonus tip, if you will, would be making your money invisible. And what I mean by this is putting it into things where the money is actively working for you, but it's not sitting visibly in your bank account where you can see, oh, I have this money. Anytime I save up a large amount of money and it's sitting in my account, I don't want it sitting there. I want it working for me elsewhere. And I'm like, what could I do with this money? So that's why I invest in properties or stocks or start a new business, because I want that money. It's not working for you if it's just sitting there. And then you're constantly sitting there looking at that number, and you could feel comfortable, like, oh, I have this money in the bank account. Like, I'm cool, I'm chilling. And then that can really deteriorate kind of your work ethic and your drive. So by making your money invisible, where you don't see that money in your account, and your account is much lower because you have that money invested into something like a business, a property, then your drive comes back, it kicks into gear, because you're like, I have to make more money. I have to, get that number back up to where it was. And so you're kind of constantly motivating yourself by making your money invisible, putting it into other things to drive you to work harder and keep going. And I heard this a while back. I don't know if it was Conor McGregor or someone else, but they would talk about every time they want to fight, they would take those winnings and earnings and just spend it all. Obviously not frivolously, but spend it to where it wasn't there anymore. And so they had to work for it again. And so I think making your money invisible is not only good for building long-term wealth and investments and working on, those sort of things, but also giving you kind of like a fire under your butt and giving you some motivation to get back after it. So those are my tips, life-changing habits, tips, things I live by on the daily that I think, can really help you guys. They've helped me tremendously over my career and life, and hopefully this video helped. Smash that like button for me, really helps. If you enjoyed this video, comment below if there's any other kind of topics you want to see. I really want to focus on this year, just going in on, business, life. Obviously, we have our online filmmaking program where you can learn everything about filmmaking. I will still post, obviously, tons of filmmaking stuff to this channel, behind the scenes, etc. But I really want to target whatever it is you guys want to see. So in those comments, let me know the topics you want to see covered or touched on, and I will do my absolute best to touch on them. Thank you guys so much. Jakob Owens with Buff Nerds. I'm out. Keep on creating.